This is the beginning of my review of the 2013 album by Arctic Monkeys called AM. I will go into some more thorough information about it. Just to say, it was hugely successful from the off and debuted in the UK album charts at #1 upon its release. And let's just go through the tracks as I'm hearing them on the fly now. Starts off with Do I Want to Know. It's a sort of blues rock style track. It's certainly powerful, and it sort of epitomises the Alex Turner style vocals, but there's a nice chorus falsetto that links in, and the guitars build up as the song progresses, so it gets increasingly sort of heavier without turning into some sort of heavy metal type delivery. It's cute, and it's got a nice hook line. Lyrically, the song seems to be first about self-awareness, about your ability to recognise when you're stuck or when you can move on, and also about taking advantage of the moment, particularly with reference to a partner, capturing the moment when it appears to be in front of you, and then recognising it may well not occur again, or it only occurs and becomes a great sort of feeling under certain circumstances, particularly if you're, say, under the influence of alcohol and you're with a girl and it really is great, but the following morning it may be a completely different perspective on what's happened. That's the what I took to it anyway. And this song, of course, was quite a big single. Track 2, Are You Mine? Well, it's much heavier. It's more sort of traditional heavy rock, but not heavy metal. And there's also some neat guitar soloing that's reminiscent of 70s psychedelic feel, but only in touches. The song has a very good hook line, represented by this sort of this chorus vocal. Are you mine tomorrow or just mine tonight? And it's indicative of the song's really about sort of the immediacy, the world of sex and love and desire. But it's, as I say, a very powerful piece of music, and was a definite hit on the live concert tour that followed the release. That's for sure. Another track that refers really to the memory of that magic with a young girl, but it's all part of a magical feeling, and it was captured by feeling a puppet on a string, which is the first line of the lyric, and that lacks sort of anything more than that, and it's sort of recaptured as you get older and you fantasize about what might have been. This is very reflective of how relationships when you're young that don't last and you move on, how you view them from a distance, and you assume that if you took a different course, that it would have stayed that sort of romantic sort of view of life and retained its sort of magic feeling, which of course it wouldn't have. And here's an extract from Are You Mine. I'm a puppet on a string, Tracy Island time travelling, diamond cutter shaped heartaches, come to find you, for in some velvet morning, years too late, she's a silver lining, lone rager riding through an open space, in my mind when she's not right there beside me. I'm sure you can get a sort of a feel of what he was trying to convey. One for the Road, track 3. This is definitely a rock song, and it's got R&B influences, so say Wikipedia, and I'm quoting here. It features backing vocals from rock musician and the producer of Humbug, an earlier album, Josh Homme, and it also features influences from Holmes' band Queens of the Stone Age, a band that I'm not very familiar with. The song starts with high-pitched woo sounds performed by Matt Helders on drums and continues with a very bluesy, chunky riff and an Americana-tinged rockabilly twang. I like the guitar on this track. Jamie Cook is on lead and rhythm guitar, and I think what I like about it is, although it's fairly basic rock music, they have a certain sort of freshness about it, which is appealing, and the guitars mesh together nicely, and the drums is very compact and very rock-like. And on this particular track, we've got some keyboards as well, coupled with those backing vocals by Josh Homme. So again, it released as a single, and it's strong. The lyrics aren't up to much. It's just reflects sort of touring, I think, and the fact that somebody who you care about is around. I think it's pretty simple. Arabella, track 4, it's certainly got a spacey, psychedelic feel. I like the way the production makes it gives a lot of clarity to the instrumentation, and so we can capture the subtleties of the guitar licks and how Turner's vocals sort of sit on top, and of course the drums. The drums are very punchy on this album. Again, it's got a formula which is becoming very much part and parcel of their sound. It ends with some neat little psychedelic solo, but prior to that it just maintains a strong rock beat, with his vocals predominantly. The song is Arabella, who appears to be some sort of fantasy figure, maybe real, maybe imagined, or maybe someone who is involved with Turner. But the lyric describes a girl somewhat akin to Barbarella. You may remember, some older people will, that Barbarella was a movie in the late 60s starring Jane Fonda, and it was very much based on a sort of sci-fi fantasy figure that propelled her and encouraged her audience, men particularly, to drool over the idea of her in this sort of silver swimsuit in some part of the galaxy, or in a rocket, and he refers to it anyway in the lyrics and metaphors with possibly a motorcycle in terms of getting that feeling of being with a woman similarly attractive and exotic.
Lyrics are a bit of a conundrum, but the last verse seems to sum it up, and I quote, "And then suddenly it hit me, it's a year ago since I drank miniature whiskey and we shared your coke. Ain't it just like you to kiss me and then hit the road? Leave me listening to the Stones, 2,000 light years from home." Well, yeah, disappointment. How to cope with it? Alex is definitely on a downer. So track 6 is the centrepiece of the album, and it's certainly my favourite track on here, number 1, Party Anthem. It's sort of a very sort of smoothie, ballady type song. You can imagine being on that dance floor again, just like we were reminded on the debut album. And it smooches along with some genteel guitar, nice keyboards. Yeah, all in all, the highlight, I think. The lyrics, once again, reflect on that, looking for that perfect girl, or the girl that you were with, and is she there tonight? And you're sort of besotted really by her, and you eventually realise that she's not around. Some of the lyrics are quite picturesque. So you're on the prowl, wondering whether she's left already or not. Leather jacket collar popped like an antenna, never knowing when to stop. Sunglasses indoors, path of the course. Lights in the floor and sweat on the walls. Cages and poles. Call off the search for your soul, or put it on hold again. She's having a sly indoor smoke. She calls the folks who run her oldest friends, sipping her drink and laughing at imaginary jokes. As all the signals are sent, her eyes invite you to approach. And it seems as though these lumps in your throat that you just swallowed have got you going. Come on, come on, come on. Number 1 Party Anthem. She's a certified mind blower, knowing full well that I don't. May suggest there's somewhere from which you might know her, just to get the ball to tell. Drunken monologues, confused because it's not like I'm falling in love. I just want you to do me no good, and you look like you could. Come on, come on, come on. Number 1 Party Anthem. There's a bit more, but it follows a repetition somewhat. Track 7, Matt Sounds, co-written by Alan Smith alongside Turner. It's another sort of ballad, rock ballady song, and what stuck out for me is the rather sort of blah 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 chorus, harmony vocals, very distinctive, almost has a sort of 50s, late 50s, early 60s sound. Soulful in many ways. Nice stuff. Every time I put this record on, I like it, and then I don't listen to it for ages, but never disappointed. Next up then is Fireside. Again, I like the harmonies. The guitar is well back in the mix, but it creates a sort of spaghetti western type sound, if that's at all possible. It's really polished rock. It's a very, very competent stuff. Alex Turner's voice, I'm starting to really grow on me. And let's move on. Next track, what is it? Why do you only call me when you're high? Same theme about that girl's uses you just when she needs you to get over a slight hiccup or very much blows hot and cold. This was a single, quite a successful single, and it has got a nice melody to it. What more can you say? This is solid stuff, a solid album. Snap out of it. This is next up, track 10. Not much to say about this. I think there's a keyboard called Celeste being played on this. There is a credit for it, but it doesn't say when Turner uses it. Although, no, he's not responsible for the Celeste, is he? But anyway, yeah, it's becoming a little bit routine, samey now, with this lyric really recycling the theme. Next up is Knee Socks, and reading from Wikipedia, this is what they had to say. It tells of a wintertime trieste that climaxes with an operatic guest vocal from Queens of the Stone Age, Josh Homme. And I'm not very familiar with that band, so I can't really comment. I think he appears on another track as well. Anyway, it's got a great groove, and yeah, move on. The closer is I Want to Be Yours, and it's a real sort of emotional plea, really, to your loved one who's disappeared or whatever, to come back, and everything will be fine. It's a moving vocal delivery, slow, a sort of ballad, romantic ballad, and fittingly a good send-off, really, to a very pleasant album. I can thoroughly recommend this one, and the more you play it, the more you like it. So it's the sixth album by the Arctic Monkeys. I think it was the sixth, and let me just confirm that. And it's called AM. Apologies, it's their fifth album, and what else can we say about it? The title, Turner said, was inspired by the Velvet Underground's '85 compilation album, which was titled VU for Velvet Underground, so he thought, I'll call this AM after Arctic Monkeys. Not exactly that creative, and 41 minutes. It's described as a paranoid and haunted album with eclectic music. Okay, I Want to Be Yours, Creeping Closer, combines all three meanings while seemingly answering the question posed by the opener. The three meanings, of course, we referred to earlier, at least I thought I had. Mood, okay, and it was written by John Cooper Clarke, the closer. Some of the lyrics anyway. He was a UK punk poet back in the early 80s, and he actually recorded a song of the same name, so there's a name dropper for you. So that's my brief look at AM by the Arctic Monkeys.